Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am your bartender in the OSR, Rach Tenkar. With me, as always, on Saturday nights, but not last Saturday night, because we were at ShireCon, is my lovely wife, Rachel.
Hello.
So we got a few things to cover. We're going to cover bit on ShireCon. We are going to cover Rachel's yoga conference that she's currently doing. A few other updates. Did you hear my stomach?
I do.
Holy Christmas.
Yeah, I wonder if that's audible on
I don't know. Hope you all didn't hear it.
Cast.
And I was like, oh, what the hell is that? And maybe another announcement, something that we're working on. So, without further ado, and I do it. We were at ShireCon last week. ShireCon's a one-day convention in the Berkshire Mountains of Connecticut. It's mostly old school in theme, but there was some 5e. We played in 5e.
Yeah, it was great.
I played in my first 5e game, so God bless me. God bless me all. And we got there on Friday. Similar, our intentions last year were to arrive Friday through Sunday, but because of car problems, we didn't arrive at all.
Mm-hmm.
But this year we arrived on Friday. Learned that when you're staying at an inn, I guess you would call it, until the restaurant opens, you really can't check in, and the restaurant didn't open to 5 p.m. So we checked in at like 4:35 or something like that. Nice, homey little place.
Yeah.
Although Rach did point out when she was using the bathroom that the bathroom floor had a noticeable angle to it.
Yeah. I was like,
Get to balance my sitting a bit better. So we hung out with Tom and Tammy Veralt, Tabletop Tap Room, on Friday night in the pre-con Get It On, I guess you would call it. And that was a lot of fun, very relaxing.
Yeah.
We ate our dinner at the inn. It was easier.
Yeah, great food there.
Easier than driving.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a very relaxing pre-con. And I got to say this. We left on Sunday. I actually felt like, hey, Tom, I actually felt like we were on vacation for an extended period of time. Not just we were gone for 3 days. I felt refreshed, like we had been gone for a week. And that tells you a lot, not just about the accommodations and the convention, but the people we hung out with.
The company. Yeah.
We squeezed a lot of time with a lot of people in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Which really is an awesome way to refresh your batteries. So yep, Tom is in. Shadow and Sun are in.
Nice.
So I know we surprised people by actually getting on time today. I'm sorry.
Sorry to catch you off guard.
I'll try not to do that again. I'll try to be politely late, but fashionably late. I ran my session from 9 to 12. I had a lot of fun. Players had apparently a good time. It was great to get back into the GM seat again. I hadn't been for a while, honestly.
Because the pandemic.
Yeah.
And all that.
I don't know if I think I ran.
I don't know if you ran a game after.
I don't know if I ran a game online. So it would mean that my last game was whatchamacallit, TotalCon. Saturday of TotalCon would have been my last game. So Tammy, we could not have played marbles in our bed and breakfast. The room was entirely slanted. What was funny about our room is that there was what did you call it, Rach? It wasn't a desk. It was
I'm not sure what the real name of this thing was, but it had like a mirror and
large,
like drawers on the sides, a little place where you could put your makeup bag or your
Yeah.
computer or whatever.
My
So I called it my pretty princess place.
my computer, my laptop barely fit, and it would not have fit if I had to plug it in. That's how close it. And you're kind of cramped in now on the sides, and the chair wasn't an office chair, but it still was a beautiful room.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shadow. You gotta let us know when you want us, and we can work out a time frame that works for everybody.
Yeah.
So, um, then our second game, the second slot, was, and when I signed up for this, and I saw, it's Cthulhu Charlie Brown. I was like, oh, it's for 5e. I thought it was for 5e.
Was it the Great Cthulhu?
The Great Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I thought it was Call of Cthulhu 5e. And then I realized after I signed up, it was like, oh no, it's D&D 5e. I actually had a great time. Don't get me wrong.
I'm sorry, the difference.
Call of Cthulhu system would have been % hobbits, and you would have lost sanity.
Oh, that's how that works.
Yes.
That was my first exposure to anything Cthulhu.
Right. But also your first exposure to anything 5th edition.
That too.
And I was playing a monk, and I had 8 pages to read. I think you had 10. Something like that. It was a lot of pages to read for your character. It's kind of why I run old school stuff.
But it was kind of neat because you had a lot of things
That's what Tammy's saying.
could do.
Yeah, Tenkar and Snoopy riding on his red house was epic. I figured, hey, how many encounters can we have? Can't hold on to this too long. The worst thing that can happen is I can not use this epic doghouse. So let's go and do it. But it was a great time. Again, like I said, I got to meet Tom and Tammy. We got to actually meet Rob Conley, Matt Jackson, Joe the lawyer's brother, Mike. All these people I've known for a while, but meet them in first person was awesome. I got to meet DM Bloodsworth, and I got to see a few friends I hadn't seen. Well, Joe Block I'd seen earlier in the summertime, so I can't say I hadn't seen Joe. But a few other people that I hadn't seen for a while. It really makes it special when you can make those connections. And it's a small con. It's probably 95, 100 people. But my God, it is good.
And it's perfect the way it is. It's very nice to have that smaller grouping of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like North Texas is about as large as you can get and still be fairly intimate, where everybody knows everybody. But this, you got to know pretty much everybody. So Saturday ended for us early Sunday morning after midnight. Drink with Tom Wilson, Levi Combs, Matt Roberts, a few others. And, I just chewing the shit. We talked about the 10 Keys, which is going to be an OSR award that we're going to start announcing next year at at ShireCon. And we plan on never missing another ShireCon. God rest my soul. I really,
my soul.
Yes, we really missed it last year. It was, It was not an easy loss because I also had to eat the money for the bed and breakfast that we had.
Yeah, that was painful.
Yeah.
I think we were supposed to stay in the Locust, last year.
I think it was the Locust last year. I think Matt Roberts was there, and he was like, I saw your name on a door, but we never saw you. So there you go. But so that was last weekend. That's why there wasn't a live stream last weekend. We were literally too busy socializing and filling our socialization batteries. I think that's again why it seemed like we got so much in. Is because we got to meet so many people and really, I don't know, bond and renew bonds and all that wonderful stuff. It means a lot, especially post-COVID. Like you realize how much this stuff means now that we're out of, and I could quote the president and say it's over, but now that it has gone from being an endemic to a pandemic, that's the way I've been looking at it. So,
what did you say?
It's gone from a pandemic to an endemic.
There you go.
I got it backwards, didn't I?
I think so.
I might have. Tammy, ShireCon was just easy and balanced, being on vacation and gaming. Just nice and easy. No stress, no drama. Yeah, you can't get much better than that. So I believe nothing here is written in stone, but likely our next convention will be TotalCon in February up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And then, was it Phoenix Rising? That looks like a likely choice, again in Massachusetts.
Yeah, they were saying that's even in a little town where you can check out stuff.
That would be in April. And then North Texas in June. So we're getting our convention schedule worked out pretty well. That's with Missing Game Hall this year. And I think GaryCon, we might have one GaryCon left in us, but it's going to have to be a special occasion. It's going to have to be getting together with a lot of friends and making a good reason to go. It's a nice venue. It's just too crowded for my taste.
Yeah, and you do have to rent a car.
Yes, you have to rent a car. It doesn't make it easy. It makes it difficult. I mean, it's just an added step and an added expense. When you go to North Texas, honestly, everything.
The airport's right there, so you can just hop on a shuttle.
Yep, and trust me, you're going to make friends quickly who will be more than happy.
Yeah, people will take you out.
Or you're going to the restaurant at the hotel is not bad. There's a Denny's across the street. Your mileage may vary. Rates is not like Denny's. Great food trucks. And really good
food. They were awesome.
So.
Yeah, no, I'd get breakfast at the food truck.
Yeah, you don't have to leave the venue if you don't want. And you don't, it's big enough that you don't feel claustrophobic if you don't leave it. That's our niece calling.
Are you sure you don't want to patch her through and
jeez,
put her on the show?
No.
Teach her a lesson?
Oh my God! I should have picked up. Shannon, we're live. What's up? I'm not going to call. Oh my! Rach wants me to call her back. Okay, hold on. It's on speakerphone. So we're gonna live with Shannon.
Uncle.
Hey, Shannon, we're live. You're on the air.
Oh, you know that one convenience store? You know that 7-Eleven by my house?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a convenience store across the street, and it just got shut down because it was selling drug candies to kids.
Wait. It was selling what?
They were selling drugs to kids?
Drugged candies. And the kids didn't know. They were sneaking it in the
They were dosing the kids. Oh my God, that's crazy.
That's horrible.
Yeah. What kind of pigs?
Wow. Okay, that was worth it. That was
absolutely worth it. Now you know what's going on in this world.
You see, we get live updates during the show. Awesome. Are you ready for tomorrow?
Yes.
All right. Casey's joining us.
Yay.
I know.
All right, young lady. Want us to call you back after the show?
Yep.
All right, we'll call you back. All right, bye-bye. She's frequently our third chair sitting behind us, if you haven't seen her in the past.
If the voice isn't familiar.
Yes. But in any case, our weekend at ShireCon was great. The other conventions that we're going to go to are awesome. Here's a little secret. I rarely play games at conventions, which is kind of why Joe was very surprised that we weren't available in the second time slot. Because how dare Eric actually play a game? Because usually I just socialize during the second slot at ShireCon because I leave for the third slot. But since we're staying, I figured get into the game. The game was 5e was surprisingly fun. A very good.
Was a great time. Scott was a great facilitator also.
I would say
his name's Scott. Yes.
Yeah, but I would say DM. But Rach speaks as one of them. They're social workers. So you gotta forgive her choice of vocabulary.
Yeah, he was right. He was very on top of making sure, he was right on top of like making sure like he knew where the turn was, and how he kept track of everybody.
Yep.
Yeah,
No,
he was so good.
He was very good at that. Tammy says he was, and our group was so into the characters. Well, you have to be, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna play the Peanuts characters. It's gonna be Charlie Brown and gang. You got to go into it with the mindset of, I watch these cartoons every freaking holiday, right?
Yeah.
It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. They had the Thanksgiving one. They had to go the Christmas one. Did they have an Easter one? I don't remember if they had an Easter one.
I don't remember Easter.
But they had the general spring ones where the Peanuts go camping and crap like that.
They did?
Yeah, I think they did a camping one. So, I mean, you grew up with these, and they repeated them
Yeah, it was all the like fall, winter holidays.
Yeah. So, this was our childhood. This was what in a large part makes us what we are. And I think that's why it was so easy for us to get into the characters.
Yeah.
We innately understood them. So that was a really cool part.
And the whole fact that Charlie Brown got to kick the football.
Charlie Brown kicked the football. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, it was very nice.
So yeah, it was really, really well done. And hey, climbing a mountain. Very sorry we missed you.
Aww.
I think he did. He did, I believe, notice Joe the lawyer and Matt Jackson and probably Mikey outside when they were sitting in the chairs.
Oh.
like
when they were waiting for us to come?
Yeah, they were just killing time outside, just hanging out. Yeah. Everyone else seems to remember the kite eating tree but me for the Peanuts game. Tom, I did not remember the kite eating tree.
Oh, I don't remember that either. No.
There are two others, but you know what? Didn't make a difference to me. It's a kite eating tree. Makes perfect sense. Let's go destroy it. And I thought everybody played that up pretty well. It was just, a good, honest time. I picked up some good role-playing books. I picked up my first physical copy of Isle of Dread for $4. Can't beat that. Now I want to run it, but I just want to run my own stuff, so I don't know. But it becomes an interesting way to say I would charge my batteries, and ideally, I think I would be going to a convention every 3 months. But that's not how the schedule generally works, right? It clumps up usually fall and springtime, or late winter through late winter through spring, and then a little bit in the fall. You don't have too much middle of the winter because why? You risk getting snowed out. Honestly, I guess there's SnowCon up in Maine. Oh, I don't.
Is that in Maine or is it in Vermont?
No, I think SnowCon. I think SnowCon is in Maine. I'd have to double check though. Oh no! Yeah, the day was a disaster for me. My phone dropped out for 2 days as soon as I got there.
Oh no!
I'm really sorry I didn't have a chance to talk with you both. Dude, that's why we have Thursday nights. For folks that don't know, if you join the Tenkar's Tavern Discord server, Thursday nights, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, with the exception, generally speaking, of when we're at conventions. Occasionally, if I'm away, it doesn't always work. We do a hangout. Video is optional. Voice is push to talk. It generally lasts at least 2 hours. It usually goes so well that I have to stealth drop somewhere after 11 o'clock. Because if I announce I'm leaving, then the whole room goes, oh! But the conversations are good. I just start doing the junkie nod, so I need to go. So I don't make a big point of me leaving. But it's a great time. We usually get anywhere from 8 to a dozen, sometimes a bit more people. And it's just like hanging out at your local pub. Really, the conversations are very, very relaxed and very cool. So I've met climbing that mountain on Thursday night. So we still have that, a nice way to relax and chill. Tammy, super cool. I won the auction I put my ticket in for. But even cooler,
Yes.
that Tom won the big package and now has Tenkar's Minions official T-shirt. And Tom, that's a one-off because I'm not going to be making that one again because I felt that the print area was too small. You also have a torchlight hat for me. So the torchlight hat, there are, I believe, 3 in existence. So you're doing pretty well on that on unique items. Collectibles. Curse of Colbo Cave by Tom Wilson is ideal to pair with the Isle of Dread. I need to read them both. I haven't had a chance to read any of the stuff I picked up. Took it with me. We had dropped my father at his doctor's appointment, but he didn't take any time in his doctor's appointment.
Mm-hmm.
How dare he?
In and out.
How dare
he?
He?
They burned him up and he came out.
Yeah. Huzzah is a wargaming con we've attended in Portland, Maine. Okay.
Huzzah.
See, well, wargaming, I don't know if I could get into it. The war games I played were back in my college days.
What is a war game?
It could be anything from miniatures to moving like chits or tiles on a board, and it can. It's a lot of times it's resource management. It depends.
Is it rolling dice?
It's rolling dice.
Oh,
it's rolling. Yeah, but
it's similar, like stats.
Yeah, but you're controlling like dozens or maybe 100+ chits. So it's 1-on-1 as opposed usually.
I don't think I ever.
That's okay.
I played anything like that.
I've outgrown my wargaming days. I can never find enough players that wanted to play stuff anyway. Yeah, it's mostly minis.
Oh.
And the terrain is gorgeous. That I can believe.
Okay.
So when they use a good terrain, it does add an extra dimension to it. I used to like the double blind games from Game Designer Workshop. It just seemed more realistic to me, and it wasn't overly complex. How big is TotalCon or PhoenixCon? TotalCon is about 1,000 attendees, 900 to 1,000.
That many?
Yeah.
And they have a nice vending room.
Yeah.
Vending tables.
The only thing that I will say bad
they
about
have some very creative offerings. In
the cupcakes are enough.
Oh my god, those cupcakes are so good.
But
there's another like a jewelry maker and another one that makes jewelry out of chainmail. It's pretty cool.
So TotalCon is again. I think it's about 1,000 attendees. The only complaint is the hotel, and the complaint is maybe they'll change their HVAC system and
well, the air quality is very poor in there. Like bring your neti pot.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Or plenty of like saline.
TotalCon 2020 was the last con I attended before COVID struck, and I left there with an upper respiratory infection, which turned into pneumonia, which turned into sepsis, which led to my congestive heart failure. But that was just looking for an excuse. That was going to happen. That was just looking for an excuse to kick it off.
It was looking for a window of opportunity.
Yeah. So I won't. But we
can't put that there.
Right.
We can take that one back.
I can actually say TotalCon saved my life.
Yeah.
By getting me sick. Okay. How's that sound, Rich?
Yeah. I mean, that era was just so bad.
Now, Rising Phoenix or Phoenix Rising.
We've never been.
That was where.
It's.
Wait, what's his name?
Scott and Rob. No. Scott, I can't remember his last name. I think it maybe an L last name.
Well, our DM for the Charlie Brown.
So he's the organizer of that whole thing, and then of the Phoenix Rising, and I think Matt Roberts,
right,
is involved with it too.
So it is apparently a hotel that TotalCon I think used when they were smaller. So
yeah, and they raved about that.
Yeah.
They said it used to be in such a great place, and it's close to a lot of stuff.
So I believe they're somewhere around the size of North Texas, around 400. I am not 100% sure. You might have to ask around a little bit. Get a source more valid than me. Yes.
They were really passionate about that con when they were telling us.
Yeah. Shadow. Wow, that is such a positive way to look at things. Listen, honestly, when I look at 2020, I look at it in 2020, I was hospitalized 3 times, Shadow. Okay. Pneumonia, and actually, there's a lot of ways to look at it and go, holy shit. So I was hospitalized with an upper respiratory infection that turned into pneumonia, turned into sepsis. I was COVID maybe positive. They tested me. It was going to take, I don't know. I think it took 5 days for the results to come back.
Yeah.
I was released.
And then more days for them to actually call.
Yeah.
And let you know.
Yeah. I was actually released before the results came back with the idea that, yeah, you probably don't have COVID. But when I left the hospital, so this was Elmhurst Hospital, so that's ground zero for New York.
This was
within 2 or 3 weeks after
after you were released, within 2 weeks, it was
they had like bodies,
freezer trucks outside to manage the dead.
So, but when I was leaving, my feet were swollen, and I was asked, "Do you normally retain water?" And I've had occasionally swollen feet. I mean, like a lot of walking, your feet swell. I figured I was lying in a fucking hospital bed with all these tubes. No, I couldn't. It was trouble sitting up in bed. Most miserable time of my life. And I figured, you know what? Yeah, I mean, my feet are just swollen because I've been lying in bed for 3 days, 2.5 days, whatever it was. Well, no, that was the beginning signs of congestive heart failure. Mm-hmm. But here's the kicker. When I was admitted 2 months later, or 3 months, 2.5 months later, to St. Francis Heart out in Nassau County, Long Island, when I got to see my surgeon told me flat out, he goes, whether we saw you when it kicked off 3 months ago, or whether we saw you now, the results were going to be the same. He goes, you might have had a miserable existence in the last couple of months, but the results would have been the same. But he goes, if you came to that very hospital 24 hours earlier, and I was supposed to go 2 days earlier.
Go 2 days before he actually went there.
I would have been exposed to COVID. Mm-hmm. They only opened up the COVID wing the day before I got there, or like the evening before. I mean, that's how. So he goes, you timed it perfectly to avoid exposure to COVID when you were in a weakened state. So having my first hospital miss the signs of congestive heart failure likely or possibly saved my life.
Go Elmhurst.
Okay.
Go EJG.
Go figure that. So I'm like, holy shit. Me not feeling up to going to the hospital 2 days prior was someone telling me, higher power, just wait a day or two, because then you don't need to be exposed to COVID. It was. So yeah, I take things glass half empty, glass half full. Mm-hmm. I generally, when I was in high school, I was a pessimist. I will admit that. My saying was, the optimist dies 1,000 deaths, the pessimist but one. That was fine when you're one of those cringy teenagers. But as an adult, I found a way to certainly find the half full glass where others would be very upset. Even my third hospitalization, where I fainted at a local pub at the outdoor seating, I guess that end of August, beginning of September. And
no, I think it was like July until August.
No, it was almost September. It was late August.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I think it was earlier than that.
No, it wasn't about my birthday. It wasn't July. My birthday had passed.
Okay, maybe it was August then.
Yeah. And
I do remember it being very hot.
It was a hot day, and I had, TMI, I had a lot of stomach issues.
He was dehydrated.
I was dehydrated from.
Yeah.
I lost like 3 pounds from the day before, and I'd already been losing significant weight. My blood sugar was high before I went down, so I took insulin before leaving, and I fainted. And I believed, and I even told the EMTs in the ambulance, they took my blood sugar, it was like 100 and 19. Like, oh, your blood sugar is perfect. Well, yeah, I had orange juice before they got there. But I truly believe that I had low blood pressure due to dehydration and the low blood sugar. And I get to the hospital and I'm admitted, and the cardiologist is telling me, we see your heart history, and no, this is a heart condition, yada, yada. They're insisting. But they can't find any issues. So they finally send me for a sonogram. And it's one of those moments when doctors or techs at a hospital or any medical, when they stop what they're doing and they go back and forth and left and right, up and down in circles, and then they get the person next to them and have the other person, you're like, that they didn't find fucking gold in my neck, all right? That wasn't what they were excited about. But what they found was that I had completely occluded jugular. No, carotid. Carotid, sorry. I get it backwards. But it was due to radiation. So it was completely occluded. So what did that mean? It means that they do nothing. I talked to a vascular surgeon, and he's like, oh, we do nothing. Your body is compensated. We don't see that too often. It's happened before, but since your body is completely compensated, you even got to see a neurologist who put me through some tests and was like, yeah, you're normal. I was like, okay. And then I get to see my cardiologist come back and tell me flat out, he goes, I don't normally have to do this, but my patient was right and I was wrong. Your heart.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because like, especially like specialists or surgeons, that's not part of their
it's not part
vocabulary
of their,
or not part of their paradigm to apologize or say they were wrong about something.
So he's like, because your heart is acting like a healthy heart. So they actually at the hospital took me off some medication, lowered some other dosages, which my regular cardiologists, like two of them, were like, fuck no, we're not doing away with, you can't, man. That's just, and that's why I have two doctors and two specialists, a heart failure specialist and a cardiologist working in tandem. So they both agree that the removing me of one medication, I forget which one it was. It was one of the expensive ones. So I was like, oh, this is great. I was like, removing me from that and removing me and lowering my dosage, another one, and then giving me medication for low blood pressure. They're like, no, get off that shit right away. Like, I did have low blood pressure at that moment, but that could be dealt with by not being dehydrated and adjusting other meds, which is what they did. So, yes, as Shadow says, wow, your guardian angel.
Yeah.
Rocks. Yes, 2020. And again, never had COVID in 2020. Hospitalized 3 times. I had the trifecta of hospitalizations, or the hat trick, if you're a hockey fan. And I never got COVID. And I never spent a night in the hospital since I was a kid, since I was like 2.5 years old, until 2020. So by the time the third hospitalization came along, I was kind of like, I guess why am I going to fight it? It's not like I have any streak to cover right now of not being hospitalized. It's not like, but oh my God. So I would never have known I had an issue with my neck, with my circulation there, if it hadn't been for me fainting. And the fainting was guardian angel looking out. So we found this out and had another specialist who I saw after that, who I'd been seeing for a bit, and he was a radiation oncologist and did radiation medicine, and he was like, I've read of cases like you, but he goes, but I'm happy to shake the hand of the first case I've actually met in person.
Okay.
That was Clark.
So you're represented in the research, but you were the first one to walk into his space.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. He goes, I've it was like, wow. And he goes, and they're right. He goes, unless there are symptoms, we don't do anything. If your body compensates, he goes, then you're at 100%. So he goes, so God bless. So I've had a lot of good doctors in my corner. Can never complain about that. It's part of one of the reasons why when Rach and I talk about looking to move or buy property, it always comes down to how's the healthcare look like out there.
Yeah.
And
We have very comprehensive networks here.
So
yeah, and I know like a lot of other places in the country are really expanding in that way, and who knows, probably in a few years maybe exceeding what New York has.
Could be.
In some places like in North Carolina,
Yeah.
not in the mountains, but,
not in the mountains. We're
more in the city area.
But I mean, I have a cardiologist, a heart failure specialist. I have an orthopedist, and I have an endocrinologist. Specialties that if I was up in the Poconos, I'd have to drive 60 miles to see in some cases. Not the
If
cardiologist.
you're lucky.
Yeah, and the endocrinologist was like halfway through Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not that other doctors can't cover such.
They will not generally.
Well,
so that's why they refer you to a specialty, because
you
need expanded.
I understand. What I'm saying is,
intervention.
If you're a diabetic, you could be covered under your general practitioner. You can. A lot of people.
Maybe out in the country.
Rach, I got news for you. I guess.
Well, I guess.
Wait.
Socorro was managing.
Yeah, and guess who was going to if I couldn't get. I was actually asked, do you want us to be a specialist or do you want me to manage your diabetes? Dr. Shah.
Oh, really?
Right, but the only thing is, but Dr. Shah said, but I am a number of years removed from doing internal medicine, so we could do it because I'm comfortable with it. But I'm glad that I got a very good endocrinologist that specializes in that stuff. Yeah. So Evil Cheese says mountains are great, but very, very expensive now.
Oh.
So it's. I look at 2022 as how am I going to put this the best way? A thankfully uneventful year. I mean, we started out with COVID, and the worst part about COVID for me was the lethargy. Oh my God, and the brain fog. Brain fog lasted me for 2.5 months, where I would just zone out, like not fall asleep, but be like. All right, what was I trying to think of? What was I trying to do? It's just not a good feeling. And we had about a month of 10 to 12 hour.
Needed more sleep.
So, but enough about that crap. Rach has been doing a seminar this weekend.
Yeah, it's a symposium that focuses around yoga and the application of yoga and yoga philosophy and principles in dealing with eating disorders and addictions. And it's been a really cool symposium, a lot to learn. Something that really struck me about the symposium was that a lot of men were involved. And so today we had this panel discussion about men's mental health. And so there were 3 fellas, and they one of them had chemical addiction, and then and he also had a eating disorder. Came to realize, after he started working on his chemical issues, and then 2 others that had eating disorder and exercise usage disorders. They had
what would that be?
One guy had and this happens a lot, for a lot of men, which I was surprised. body image issues in terms of you can't be big enough, strong enough. So you make these
I've known people like that.
decisions, certain dietetic decisions that are not always the healthiest for yourself. And then just like over exercising to the point of injury. And
I have two friends that had
Mhm.
hernias.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
and I'm not going to mention which ones they are,
No.
but two of my close friends,
Mhm.
you know, in meet space, not this virtual space, but in people I've known since childhood,
Yeah.
because they were working out very heavy, and you always have to. Was it no pain, no gain?
Right. You know, and it was interesting because like when talked about like childhood trauma and you know how the childhood trauma can just shatter your whole idea of your masculinity. And you know, trying to like spending your adolescence and your young adult years trying to compensate, you know.
Right.
So through like just never having enough, never being too bulky, never being too muscular, and yeah, I thought it was interesting that you know that's how that presents, that it's all about like my muscles. And so you think of the person as, whoa, this person's extremely healthy because they're in the gym all the time, you know.
Right.
And so you know, people don't think of that happening for somebody who is the picture of health, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so I just thought that was just really interesting, and because it was a yoga space, it was really nice to have like male perspectives,
Well, that's
because
cool.
yoga spaces tend to be dominated. Not dominated, but I guess dominated, but like more women than men.
And I'm going to interject for a
usually,
second
yeah.
now, and that's interesting because now,
And I mean, these are like yesterday we heard from a footballer who had addiction. This is a guy in the NFL. I think his name is Devin Waller or something like that. He played for the Raiders, and he was almost kicked out. And then you know I mean, they banned him from playing for a very long time.
all right, drug failure. Okay.
Well, yeah, because like even because they saw his college record, they said, "Oh, he has to be on the program, so he's going to have to be tested like all the time."
All right.
And so, sure, he was going to pop, you know.
Sounds like Walker.
Walker, maybe. I thought it was Waller.
It could be Walker,
but it could be Walker. But he was interesting, like you know, the way that his addiction kind of, you know, developed, and you know the things that you know happened for him, and now he's this huge advocate for people in recovery because he's working his own recovery program,
right?
And has, you know, significant amount of sobriety now, and you know,
He's somebody who's gone through it. He's walked the walk, and is not just talking the talk.
like he does like charities out in Vegas because that's where the team is.
Okay, might be Waller. Thank you, Don.
And it was so interesting to hear from like, you know,
but I'm gonna
because you know a lot of times people think of yoga, yeah, that's for girls, you know, but it's not.
And I'm gonna make an observation.
And it was so interesting to see him meditating, and
I'm gonna make an observation. What did we notice at ShireCon this weekend?
That there were a lot more women.
A lot more women. I mean, it was noticeable. I mean,
than usual, or I don't know, usual. We've been 2 or 3 times, but
or any kind of, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, at ShireCon, at the 2 tables that we played in, there were 3 women out of the 8 players. All right, my table 3 out of 9, right? Because Rach had it, but it was, if you looked around the convention, generally speaking, you saw 2 to 4 women at every table.
Yeah.
And it was very striking. Now, I'm going to take that even a step further, Rach. Now, we often hear that we got to be more inclusive in gaming, and I'm not saying we don't need to be.
Right.
Not, but by being inclusive, it means welcoming people to your table. You don't drag them into gaming, right?
Exactly. That's the thing. Like yoga too. It's usually you go to it, because you've heard it can help you in some way, or you're curious about what is this practice, and you start to explore it a little bit more.
I mean,
but it's usually the question comes from the person, not
right. I mean, when I found out that Joe did some yoga and does meditation,
yeah,
Joe the lawyer, I was surprised, but not totally surprised.
No, me either.
But I mean, again,
he seems like an open kind of guy. Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to getting more men into yoga, how do you think a good portion of those men, Rach, are going to be introduced to yoga?
I think they're going to be introduced through maybe their wives or girlfriends, or through those other men,
right?
Their friendships,
right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to gaming, all right, if it's something that is historically male dominated, how are you going to get more women in? You're going to get more women in by again, men, spouses, boyfriends, brothers, family members, bringing them into the gaming world. And then once they're in, they can bring their girlfriends in. But you can't do it. What I hate seeing is in any community, oh, we've got to change these demographics. Well, the only way you can change demographics is by being open. But you just can't say, well, we're going to drag people in.
Yeah, no, not at all. That wasn't at all,
Climate Amount says, due to women, Wizards of the Coast demographic strategy, 39% of RPG players are women now. And that's an interesting number.
Huh.
I wish that the numbers for this channel reflected somewhat closer to that. They don't. We are a sausage factory.
Fest.
Whatever. I could say we manufacture sausages. You're saying that we party. We party with sausages, but we have. I'm not going to sing the song. I'm not going to say the title, but remember that New Zealander, the Kiwi show?
Too many D's on the dance
floor. Great. Oh God,
Flight of the Conchords.
Great show. I brought that DVD set when we were recording. We would watch it, and that's how you court. By the way, you court over humor, because if nothing bonds better than laughing over the same stuff. Don, very true. My daughters all grew up playing D&D and board games.
Oh,
the only way people get into this is generally you got to be exposed to it. All right, you can't be like, oh, we need more women at the table. Okay, how are you going to do that? Well,
yeah,
sure, you can advertise toward women, but the best way, and I got pushback by saying that I felt, I didn't say all, but I felt that the majority of women that came into gaming were introduced by males in their circle. All right, even in high school, the women the girls that came into it, they came in because of us. It wasn't,
okay.
And the demographics are going to change now. Now we're getting to the point where women are bringing other women in.
Yes.
And that's awesome. Okay. And, but this was, just like yoga was, if you go back to yoga probably 20 years, there were probably there's probably twice as many men now.
Yes.
At least
in
yoga.
Say. I definitely would
We're breaking down those invisible barriers. I would say in the last 10, 20 years of gaming, we've certainly doubled if not more, the number of women in gaming.
Yeah. I mean, I remember being in studios 20 years ago, and the one man in the class, everybody was like, oh, hi, so-and-so.
Yeah. Tammy, Eric, your Minions game with Source Wizard Light made a girl like me who is married to Mr. Starfrontiers dust off my college brain for playing D&D so easy. The impetus, the idea behind Swords and Wizardry Light, once we got around to the idea that I had 4 pages to work with, was to make a game that served multiple purposes, But at no point was it going to be the game that would teach you how to play. You can't do that in 4 pages. But it was for lapsed gamers, such as yourself, who hadn't played in 20, 30 years. Well, guess what? Here's 4 pages, 2 pages of which you have to read as a player. And it'll refresh your memory enough that you're going to get back into it and it's going to feel easy. Or coming from 5e or 4e or Pathfinder or 3, and you can look at the rules and go, oh, well, I understand all these concepts already. It's just simplified and get up and running. Or for a new gamer to be introduced to it and not be intimidated by all these books stacked up on the table. No, it's 4 pages. You can not be intimidated by 4 pages. So I'm glad it serves its purpose. Now that Frog God no longer has the license for Swords and Wizardry, once the copies that are on hand are done, I don't know what's going to happen. Mike and I have been talking. Mike's got some ideas that he wants to run with, but the concept will never die because this is a good, strong concept that is good for gaming. So even if Swords and Wizardry Light goes out of print, I do have, I believe, the copyright to it. We could rebrand it. We could relay it out, call it something different, but it's not going to go away. How's that sound for a skinny?
Better not go anywhere.
Better not go anywhere, gosh darn it. So, but yeah, you've had that seminar. It was Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
Who's the big name on Friday, Rach?
That was Russell Brand. Russell Brand is a British comedian and actor.
Not talk
he's
show
also
host.
got a YouTube channel, and it's a political channel, but he's somebody who could fall on any side. He punches holes in Republican. He punches holes in Democrat ideas or behaviors.
Right.
I think he kind of sees them as like Jimmy Dore does, like that they're all the same.
Yeah.
But and that how can we sort of find a way of being able to have everybody equitably involved in decision making and the political debate and empower everybody. He's another person who it's like how does Russell Brand fit into that? He's somebody who he's pretty openly talks about like his recovery from like eating disorder and addiction, and he's a 12-step kind of guy, but also like incorporates yoga into his supports.
It's pretty cool
To maintain himself. So yeah.
So Rach has been doing this the last 2 days.
Yeah. Tomorrow it wraps up.
I mean, Rach, and we don't get up early, so Rach's been getting up before 9. I've been lying in bed till about 11. But she's got it again tomorrow. Today, she also after that she did your TRX workout.
Right, the TRX resistance bands and
yeah. So my life is nonstop. I'm half stop. No, I'm sorry. I'm just joking. So, but so this is what's been going on our side. In addition to that, we've been taking some long walks.
Oh yeah.
Weather is cooling down.
Dog.
Now, the issue is going to be as it gets too cold, the dog's not going to want to go out. But worse than that is once you get your first snow and you get the salt out there, the salt is not good for the dog's paws. She's really not going to want to go out. When the dog doesn't want to go out, guess what?
Hopefully it's not a bad winter.
But I think
I don't mind, I don't know, like it could be a little cold, but
I think we're gonna have to find a way to still do our own walk, even if the dog doesn't get the walks in that she.
And we could, take it to whatever mall and just walk the mall.
Right.
Not stopping in the stores, mind you, because we'll be broke. But just to walk through the malls,
yes,
all the nooks and crannies, and at a pace, not
not meandering, Rach, not meandering.
Yeah, I know. I sometimes will walk down the mall and not look in front of myself,
or she'll walk,
and I'll be like, "Oh, the coach window."
We'll be walking along, and I'll be talking with Rach, and all of a sudden, I realize I'm talking to myself, and she's laughing. So it's true. And I'm like, where the? And I gotta look back, and she's 20 feet back. She's like a dog. Squirrel. She's off. So,
and if not even just in the mall, like if we're in a store, it's like,
or
I have special ADHD.
Yeah. Or we're walking down the street, and she finds
pretty color. Let me touch it.
And she finds flowers, and she's like.
That's
dogs,
always. You have to sniff the flowers.
No, you don't. I can smell them from too far away. As it is, I don't need to get into the face of the flower.
Oh, I love putting my nose in the frozen.
No. So, little background here, and I don't know if any of you suffer from this. I have a reaction to certain scents. Okay, certain scents close off my airways. I find breathing to be harder, and I happen to marry a woman who has. If I have an addiction with collecting games, and I like to confess this in front of everybody that's watching on this live stream, I have a confession. I collect RPGs. I don't always read them in a timely fashion, and a timely fashion could be counted in years in some cases. All right, I've made my true confession publicly. Rach is addicted to scents. She's addicted to perfumes. At least once a week, sometimes multiple times in a week, there will be more perfumes that show up. And here is
that's not true.
They never show up multiple times in a week?
No. They do not.
They've never.
Oh, I don't know. Ever, but not lately.
Oh, not lately. Anyway, and we haven't been averaging about one package a week?
No, not of perfume. It had been months since I got a mail order perfume.
Has that been months if you count?
Yes, I have not had Fragrance X. I haven't had Fragrance Net. The last one that came, that was from Mugler. It was Alien back in July. Because that's when it was released. And I couldn't wait for it. So I said, I'm going to blind buy this because this is going to be a good one.
In any case, there's nothing worse than being surprised when you walk into you get into your car, you close the door, Rach closes her door, and then you realize you can't breathe, and since the car isn't on, you can't get the window down, you can't get the car started quick enough because the scent is closing off your passageways.
But you told me about that. I gave it away.
It's been more. We've had more than one scent that's done that, but you can be around other people and it'll have no effect.
Versace Eros did it.
So
there's another rose one. I can't remember what that was, but that went too.
Yeah. Oh, should we give him away to my son's fiance?
And the women in her family, because they don't necessarily splurge on that. So, give it away, give somebody else some joy.
Ella says next month comes, was it Elju owlbear? Oh, I don't want an owlbear would smell like a really musty bear, and no, I've seen a bear as close as 20 feet, and no, thank you. And I think Ray stepped in bear poop one time at the Pocono this summer. So
it was last fall.
Oh, last fall. I think we had
the shit went all the way up and pooped.
I think we've had the ooh
onto my
we've had
jeans. I was like,
Tammy, it's okay. I get it. I have a scent addiction too with candles.
Yeah. She gets it.
Of course she gets it. She's a lady. Whoa.
You'd be surprised. Men like scent too, or to some degree.
Some degree. I was what did I used to wear? Drakkar when I was younger. Drakkar is for men, manly men. Then I hit like I think when I became a cop, I was like, you know what I'm gonna smell like? No matter what I wear, I'm gonna smell like a guy who's worn a police vest in 98-degree weather for the last 8 hours. Nothing's gonna cover up that smell. So live with
He
it.
said, "I'll embrace it."
I'll embrace it. It's my man. I got a manly odor. So, Tammy doesn't like. She's very not just flowery. It's more earthy.
Yes, I like it. Like the sandalwoods and
Yeah. If there was
mosses.
if there was Drakkar in our medicine cabinet over the sink, it's been there since my 20s.
I don't think we have any.
It probably evaporated over time. Even there's no way.
Yeah, I never saw you with cologne.
No. The most scent I'll have a little aftershave is going to be what you're going to get from me. Maybe.
Electric shave.
Electric shave. There we go. But so we have a what do they call it? A soft announcement to make. So there's been a request, a couple of requests for recipes from us, things that we make, whether it's Rach or myself. Some of our healthier snacking options.
We should take pictures of some of the things.
Well, we can. Like, what do we do? Like, what products do we use if we want to make pancakes and still satisfy our urge for something that comes close to a real pancake?
Yeah. Like, take a picture of the packaging.
And then the actual results.
And then the result.
So here's what we are going to do.
Like a little blurb about what it is and how it tastes.
It should go live in about a week or two. When it does, I will share it on social media. We'll put up a link on the next Gamers Health when it's live. But I've got it ready to start putting stuff together on Substack. It's going to be a free newsletter. We'll probably put out a post a week, but we're going to have recipes and food options and little tips. Maybe Rachel will give you some ideas for meditation. We're going to cover our favorite little home gadgets and appliances that for us make cooking for two. Remember, we cook for two. On the holidays, I might cook
is that where you want to put like some of the exercise equipment, like some of the little things that I've gotten?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to put this together and try to get an issue out once a week. It's going to be free. It's not going to be paid on Substack. It's going to be free, but we just want to get it out there. And I think that's going to be easier than setting up a whole website and a blog. It's going to be, so probably the first will be.
Or could it have a tab in the YouTube?
Well,
that community tab?
I'm gonna put the link up.
We're gonna understand.
We'll put a link up for it when it goes live, and I'm sure for Gamers, with every episode of Gamers Health, we'll put a pinned comment up as to where you can subscribe to the newsletter. The newsletter is going to be really, honestly directed by you. So we're going to look for your feedback, and if you tell us, your recipes are shit. We want less about your recipes, but more about maybe your pre-bought shortcuts. Like I said, when it comes to pancakes, we've been trying different pancake products for the last 2 years before finally finding one that, for us, comes really where we want it. To where my niece wanted like extras and wanted to take home the extras of the velvet. Red velvet pancakes from a mix. You just have to add water to. So a lot of the stuff you can't find in stores. Some of it you can find in stores. We were surprised when we were up in the Poconos last time at Big Lots. I had never stepped into a Big Lot, and we stepped in, and I was like, "How much keto stuff?" And again, I don't.
Yeah, we were surprised to find stuff like that in a
discount store. And again, I don't eat strict keto. I can tell you that for a fact, because we had McDonald's for dinner today. But I do, when I have the options, when I can, go for a low carb. That's why we treat ourselves, but we go for low carb to control my blood sugar, and it helps control calories often too.
Yeah. Depending on
depending on whether it's high
what it
fat or
is,
high
yeah.
protein, because generally it's going to be one or the other. So we don't do fat bombs.
No.
I've seen recipes for them. We don't do chaffles.
No.
Which
a bunch of cheese that there's certain keto recipes that are just totally full of fat.
Shadow, if you're still here, be good. And yes, message me when you can. We will make the time. But and Tammy, thank you. Yeah, I've been thinking about something like this for the last 2 years, and it finally came to me after I've been looking at stuff. I'm like, you know what? You know, this ability to use Substack and use that to get out a newsletter. You read it when you want to read it. Where I guess you can read it as a blog technically too. Is going to make things easier for us. We can add stuff to it throughout the week.
You're going to show me.
Right, but I'm going to make it so that Rach can actually get direct access to it. Work from her iPad. So you're going to get input from me, input from Rach. But what we will need more than anything else is your input. Because again, the Gamers Health, how am I going to put this?
Like you might be curious about something, and just from us looking into it a little bit more, we get turned on to something too. And,
right.
We can share that all together.
It's a group experience. It's a community experience. Just like Tenkar's Tavern is a community, right? This is a subset, like the Venn diagram. It's something within it. But it's because we are all going through struggles in life, right? We're all looking to improve. Or we're looking to not slip and go back to maybe we've reached a point where we're happy where we're at and we don't want to lose ground. So it isn't always about needing it isn't always about needing to improve. Sometimes you can reach that point where you're like, damn, I'm happy that I'm at the right weight. I'm fat. But you know what? It keeps work to keep you there.
Yes.
It's
you don't just get it and
they get it and
plop.
Yeah, get it and forget it. Was it set it and forget it?
Yeah.
It doesn't work when it comes to your health. So the idea with all this is nobody walks the path alone. We walk as a group, and everybody has their own pace. We understand that. Everybody has their own goals, right? We understand that. Everybody has their own strengths and deficiencies. But together we kind of compensate for the weaknesses of others with our own strengths. So probably one of the earlier recipes is going to be my go-to breakfast recipe. But I may have to also throw in a curveball. We also do breakfast burritos. And I'll mention some of my favorite salsas. If you can get to Costco, by far my favorite salsa for breakfast food is their salsa. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's the one that we've been having. It's got some bite to it. It's got some flavor because when you're trying to eat healthy, I mean,
you need flavor.
Okay, and whereas fresh vegetables are always awesome, they don't always stay fresh in your refrigerator fast enough for you to use them. So we do a lot of frozen. We use peppers and onions that are frozen.
And for the sorbets and stuff like that too.
Frozen fruits.
Frozen.
There's no reason not to. It'll store longer. It's usually a bit more cost efficient, and it's picked at its peak of ripeness usually, as opposed to your store fruit, which is picked so it'll last on the way. It had to get
there, and it might have been there a little time. I don't know.
So that's I'm calling it a soft announcement because I've got it all started, but it's not ready to go live. But I don't want to all of a sudden go, what's this thing that Tenkar is talking about? This.
Where's it at?
Yeah. What is this Gamers Health newsletter shit? What's going to be in there? We're not going to. Some of the stuff, if it's like stuff like this on Amazon, I'm going to throw in an affiliate link. You'll know. But again, anything that comes through on that stuff, anything that we make goes to make this channel better right now. And we've been doing that, and we shall see. Actually, I'm thinking that the MagSafe desk clamp might actually be good right over here, so we can have the phone ready for quick searches or other stuff when we're on as another source. I'm not like, if I needed to pull up a page, I could pull up a
Oh,
page.
it doesn't work on that?
Well, I could, but not when we're on the computer. It could be something that can be off to the side.
Oh, okay.
It always helps.
Would it hold the iPad?
I don't think the iPads are MagSafe. Will we submit these questions in the Gamers Health channel over on the Tenkar's Discord? If you are on Discord, yes. And not just questions, suggestions.
Yeah.
If you have your own recipes, and again, this isn't.
Yeah, it's not just us.
It's not just us.
Yeah, feel free to.
If you have an excellent recipe, post it there, or I will get when it goes live. I will have an email address to use.
Yeah, I guess for everybody to share their staple recipes that kind of get them through, and usually the recipes that we rely on are usually like because they're safe.
Yeah.
And because they're tasty.
I mean, I used to do a lot of konjac noodles. I have found even more satisfying than the fake pasta is fake Chinese fried rice. Because I do that with frozen cauliflower, rice cauliflower, with other frozen vegetables thrown in, frozen rotisserie chicken. Again, and the whole idea too is to find recipes that are not complicated. When they are things that are going to make, if it takes you 2 hours to make a meal that you're going to eat in 20 minutes, it's great for the holidays, but it's not great for daily cooking. Konjac noodles, they are made from a root vegetable from Asia. It's essentially 0 calories. 0 calories, 0 carbs, maybe 5 calories per serving.
They're sort of like rice noodles.
They're
clear noodle.
Like they come in a bag. Generally speaking, they come in a bag with water. You have to rinse them.
Yeah, they have a little bit of an earthy odor.
Yeah, you're gonna rinse them until the odor is passed, and then you. I usually do a dry fry on a pan to get the rest of the moisture out. And once most of the moisture is out, then I throw in sauce, sausages, or little meatballs. I always, if I'm making a sauce, if I'm making a marinara sauce, I'm always throwing in peppers and onions because vegetables help to fill. They're very low in calories. They add so much flavor to it. So you have a lot of options with substitutions. And some substitutions are like with konjac noodles, they really have no flavor. So it's all about the sauce. When it comes to other noodles, there are other noodles substitutes, pasta substitutes that sometimes they chickpea noodles that will change. They're not going to necessarily be low carb, but they'll be lower carb and higher protein, so lower in the glycemic index. We're not experts at this stuff. I make no claims to be. Okay.
No.
None of this is medical advice. This is what we do in our kitchen.
Yeah, these are things that help us.
We I've watched.
We'll take what's useful and leave the rest.
and again, what we find to be palatable or tasty, you might go, ugh.
Yeah, you might say, oh, the texture of those, I can't take it. They're too squeaky on my teeth. Like a lot of people say the rug content.
So climbing that mountain, have you given a thought to setting 1 to 3 goals for the Gamers Health Committee, like a combined monthly or quarterly weight loss goal, miles walked, or something diet related, etc.? Well, here's the problem: is that I think we could do something like that once the newsletter goes live. Because once the newsletter goes live, and we can say, oh, we have, I don't know, 20 subscribers initially. It's probably too many. Probably close to a dozen initially. But say we have 20. Then we know if we have 20 subscribers that are interested in the newsletter, then we can say, all right, if they opt into the newsletter, we're going to make this a goal. We know how many people we're dealing with. Until then, we don't have a solid number. I can judge it by number of views, but that doesn't always tell the full story. But if you're going to be interested in
and how do we track it?
Well, people have to be honest. So
Yeah.
So we'll set
Or
stuff
where
up.
does it? How would we add it up, and where
Right.
would they report it at, and that kind of
And
stuff.
if we have the
set up
newsletter,
there.
right, we can talk about that stuff in the newsletter.
Mhm.
We can put up informal polls in the newsletter. You can give feedback. We're going to make this work. It's going to be more community and more support for everybody. So it's going to be, you'll still have us yapping every week. Sorry. Or thumbs up, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But we're trying to be able to give out more support information and support knowledge that we can't really. I could tell you how I make my breakfast, but as somebody who watches videos of people who make some great keto meals, guess what the problem is? I'm watching this on my 65-inch Sony Bravia
Right,
TV.
we're very entertained.
But I don't have.
We
I don't have the notes, right?
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me.
Exactly. We can't go to it on the TV and print the
I like Tom.
instruction.
Tenkar's kitchen better than Tenkar's toilet. Yes.
Yeah, that's much
And
better.
and that can be subsections of the newsletter. You might have, Tenkar's kitchen. Rachel's gym.
I don't.
Certainly not going to be my gym, but we'll find it together. All right, this is again a path that we're all going to have to work on together, and it may take a few weeks, may take a few months for all the wrinkles to work out, and we may find certain stuff works really well, and we may find stuff that works real shittily. I don't know, but we'll find out together. That's going to be part of the process. But I'm excited, and I actually lost time this afternoon, going. I need some cover art for the newsletter for the banner, but the banner is long, and it's like, oh my god!
Wait, the banner
got to be
for Gamers Health.
Yeah, for the newsletter is wide and narrow. The associated space.
You have to show me, and then we can.
Yeah, love that idea.
Try to look
We're
for
here
some
for a
art.
reason, Tammy.
Yeah, and we could also look at how whatever. Right, wasn't it? You had something where you could put a few different concepts, and then it would come with art.
Oh yeah, we could use the AI. We could use AI art. Oh God, that's going to be a discussion for another time, but not in Gamers Health. Yes, Don, you won't need to use your phone for verification to post it. You are correct. Gaming room, a place to discuss healthy snacks for the game table that don't make a mess in books.
Oh, I like it.
I like that. And
nothing flavor blasted.
Well, yeah, you don't want those
you don't
Cheetos
want
fingers.
you don't want the Cheeto prints or not Cheeto, but
Cheeto, yeah.
Like those balls we have in there, like any cheesy.
No more Cheeto fingerprints on pages. You're right, and again,
love that.
There are, when it comes to like keto cereals, we've probably tried them all, and some of them work as cereals, and some of them, like Schoolyard Snacks, I think Schoolyard Snacks works better as a snack. Okay, it works better as like a poppable kind of like no, they don't. You want your cereal to absorb a little bit of water. These suckers don't.
Yeah, we have to be careful about the cocoa ones. Some of the cocoa ones are like legit cocoa in the thing that they made, and then other ones are flavor blasted with cocoa.
Brett Elliott, that's cheese balls. We actually have protein. I forget the name of the brand. Don't get up and get it. We'll put it in the newsletter. These are protein cheese balls, barbecue balls. You know what?
Yeah, it's a mesquite barbecue we have going now.
Oh God,
they have nacho cheese, and this nacho cheese is crazy because it's got cumin in it, and it's very Mexican flavored. And then we have another one that is jalapeno
cheddar,
white cheddar or something like that. We haven't tried that yet.
So, I mean,
and they have more, but we just didn't get that one.
Right. Now, you have to. There's a balance with this. Okay, when it comes to keto meals, you can certainly make or low carb meals or healthier meals. And by healthier, generally we're talking about watching the fat, watching the carbs, higher in protein. You can find effective ways to do that without busting your pocketbook. When it comes to snacks, lower carb snacks are going to be harder to find when they're affordable. There are some little ways to get around to cheat a little bit in the
And
pricing.
some portion control
Right.
to exercise.
Yeah. So, for example, I will remove my dirty tissues from this, which was standing. This bowl is actually pretty small. Okay.
Like I use this bowl like for pretzels. And yes, I count if they're the little sticks like that, you're counting 26 as a serving size so that this way you know what you're putting in.
Yep.
So and you get used to what a serving size is, and then mixing it with other things.
So something like investing in smaller bowls goes far. And I will say I resisted for years in getting a little kitchen scale. Now I am addicted to it. Meat snacks, yes, and we do actually have some turkey.
Oh my god, those turkey!
Again,
Old Wisconsin, it's called.
Old Wisconsin. They have a honey.
Oh yeah.
You don't get as many with the honey ones, so you can find it on Amazon, but they are delicious. And the regular turkey smoked flavor, spot on.
Yeah.
But if the regular turkey is an 8 out of 10, the honey is like a 10.5. Really,
and what's nice, it works for us both because
yes.
It's not crazy fatty. You can have 2 of the sticks for, I can't remember the calorie count, but
well,
it's a reasonable snack.
So this is what we can do with the newsletter. This is stuff that we can include in the newsletter and get out to. Now, it might be that the newsletter comes out, like, I don't know, we haven't played with Substack fully yet. It might be that I can have it send out once a week, but you could go to the online version and catch it as it updates, whatever. But like I said, this is going to be there to support the community and to give other options out there. And I'd like to hear your options. And that's the other thing too. Like, oh, well, yeah, you found these snacks. Like, oh, you found pitos. All right, well, maybe you found something that's great to snack on, that gives you that feeling of old Cheetos or all those onion rings.
And that's safer than what you used to.
Yes. So there's a lot of things. I've never had Vienna sausages to the best of my knowledge, unless they were like pigs in a blanket. So I don't know what a serving size it would be for.
I think those are the wee sausages.
I know what they are. Yeah.
Oh.
Wisconsin honey turkey jerky. No, they're actually the sausages. They're like the sausage sticks.
Sausage stick, yeah.
You know what? We will put
we'll put it up. We'll put a picture and
a link.
A link, yeah.
So this stuff will, again, the dinners that we make are generally going to be things that don't take a lot of time. And I take a lot of shortcuts. Like, if I can get like a Tyson rotisserie chicken that's cut up and frozen, am I looking at the ingredient? Am I checking to see the sodium count? Yes. And I take that, but you get a lot. Your 3 ounces. We used that in our salads the other night. 3 ounces of meat goes pretty far. It's pretty impressive. You could cut back if you needed to. All right, I'm only going to use 2 ounces of meat. There's a lot of ways that you can hack this.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like when I came into Weight Watchers years ago, serving sizes have changed.
Well, they have. They've gotten smaller.
Like, especially with meat, it's gotten smaller.
Well, it's just like shrinkflation. All your products have gotten smaller. So, I remember when you got 64 ounces of orange juice. You got 64 ounces of orange juice.
Oh yeah.
And then it was 59 ounces of orange juice, and I was like, holy crap! I don't
think I ever realized that.
And now it's 52 ounces of orange juice. So they've taken away a whole 12-ounce can of orange
Yeah.
juice, and the prices still go up.
Yeah.
So take that and stick it where the sun don't shine.
We don't buy orange juice anymore.
No, we don't. Not even the lower sugar option. Because no es bueno. But yeah, we will again put together stuff. And the great thing about it being in this newsletter is that you're going to be able to go back and read prior issues, and you're not going to have to go, they were talking about this recipe. I got to rewatch it for 10 minutes. No, you just scroll back and you find it and you read it in 30 seconds and you go, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. Don, game night. I tend to do iced tea, Pringles, and my wife will sometimes make homemade cookies.
Aww.
Well, you're making me hungry, Don.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially for those homemade cookies.
Yeah, I used to actually make the homemade oatmeal chocolate chip cookies.
Really?
But we're going back to prior to being a cop.
Okay.
My mother used to make a lot, then I started making it.
Oh.
But they were good. Then
I used to make those really bad Christmas cookies. I used to do gingerbreads, and then I used to do sugar cookie, and then because it just wasn't enough, like the gingerbread needed to be decorated and iced. Same with the sugar cookies, because they were all like stars or Christmas trees or bells or whatever they were, and they just needed decoration. So like they had like the the icing that comes in the Duncan Hines icing. They had that white icing on, and then I used to draw things on it with these pens that were vegetable. Not vegetable, but like, how do you say it?
Edible.
The dye, the food dye.
Rach is like my wife. Christmas cookie overload. I never liked Christmas cookies, to be honest with you.
I guess that's why I never made them for you.
Yeah, no, too sugary.
Yeah.
So, by the way, on the newsletter, we will also, and I know this is going to sound very, very counterproductive, we're going to give you, at least once a week, links to other YouTube channels that we really enjoy, that we follow, that are, especially if you're looking for things and some of these channels aren't just keto. So they are.
Yeah, they could be like some of my favorite exercise people, too,
right?
Or yoga people.
Yeah. So we're going to supply you with other things to look at to expand your virtual world. All right. We all learn different ways. We find that we learn a lot through YouTube, but I find that imparting knowledge is easier often through the written medium because it's easier to refer to. So there's a lot of stuff that we watch on YouTube that we're never getting. It's like, oh my God, that recipe looks awesome.
Yeah. I think it had this and that, but I don't know.
Rahul kid.
Rahul, yeah.
Oh my God.
I love that.
And he doesn't just do low carb, but he finds lower calorie options for
he's awesome.
Amazing food. He really, and I call him a kid because he's probably in his young 20s.
Yes.
But damn, he is charismatic and he knows what he's doing.
He's adorable.
So we will link you to these people, and
he's a riot.
You know what? Maybe you'll come back and say, "Hey, I tried one of these recipes. It was great." And then maybe we'll all want to try some of these recipes that we find up online. Or you're going to say, "Hey, I watched this yogi, or I watched this exercise channel," or it could be like follow certain doctors for advice on X or Y. You take out the stuff that what you want to take. A lot of the times I look at stuff and I go, oh, okay, well, you know what? That's a supplement that I can add to my supplement regimen. And it sounds like it's going to help with my heart and my blood sugar. Shouldn't hurt it. And it's an MD that, I'll talk to my MD when I go see them next, let them know what I'm taking. But, yeah. The cornflake green frosted with cinnamon red hots Christmas holly cookies needs a low-carb recipe.
So it's a frosted
cornflake green frosted with cinnamon red hots.
Yum, that sounds awesome.
You know what? Oh God, we do have some substitutions that we could play with. Here's the idea. Here's the deal. We are probably not going to be the ones.
I don't know if we're gonna find red hots. I don't know. Lily's may still red hot.
Well, yeah, you might have to. I mean, I'll even put in my recipe on how to make your own. And when I say make your own, how to turn a not bad. You can't go bottom shelf, but to turn an average or above average whiskey into a fireball without adding so much sugar on it that it would, one shot would probably put you up to in the over 200 range in your blood sugar. I find this to be a very effective method too. Well, by the way, I tried our very hard
Our George Dickel.
Our George Dickel 9-year-old Scotch our
Tennessee whiskey.
Our single barrel bought by my son, which is because he's working in Kentucky now, and
Kentucky.
It's hard Tennessee. It's all the same.
Oh shit!
But I had that. To me, whiskey shouldn't burn. It should go down. It shouldn't burn harsh, I should say. So
yeah, it's a very warm. There was a little bit of vanilla to it, but it's very warm here.
Yeah. So I had it sitting for about 3 weeks with some actual vanilla sticks.
And I'm sure it's a lot warmer here.
Yeah, you don't use vanilla flavor. You don't use vanilla drops. You got to or any of that stuff. You have to use cinnamon sticks. You can't use shaking. You can't put powder in, and you got to let it steep for at least a week. In this case, I find 3, and then you sweeten it with a little liquid stevia. Put a squirt in, pour very little out, taste it. Is it sweet enough? If it is, you're good. If it isn't, small little squirt. A little squirt of stevia goes a long way, and then you're gonna get to that point where you go, "This is Fireball or better." Yeah, which is the the other one,
the Jack
Daniel's
Fire.
Jack Daniel's Fire is I think a better Fireball than Fireball.
It's a less sweet one.
Yeah, but they're both too high in calories and too high in carbs. But you can substitute. And
the Fireball is a very, very literal interpretation of the Fireball candy.
Climbing at Mountain. I'm just if we can contribute, but I got some stuff you might consider worthy of being included. I'll send you a message.
Nice.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to guesstimate that the first month of the newsletter will likely be me and Rach working out the kinks. And as we work out the kinks and as we figure out the workflow of it, and it's going to have a workflow. Remember, I'm somebody who blogs 6 days out of 7. Christopher Stogel does my blogging on Sundays, which is good because it has a different voice, right? I do at least a video every day, of which generally 3 live streams in the week, and the live streams all have co-hosts. Why? Again, I like to have other voices other than myself on this channel. So I want to have other voices than just myself and Rach when it comes to the newsletter.
Yeah, great.
Honestly, the more, the better. It's just going to probably take us a couple of issues of it or a couple of weeks to get to the point where we can add material that's not coming from us because we got to find our own rhythm, our own pace, our own sweet spot in it.
Yeah,
it's we haven't done it before.
Yeah.
It's not a real medium. I've done a newsletter, but it was more about recapping news from the blog, and that to me that wasn't even worthy. I dropped that after a couple of months. So yes, it's going
I've
to.
Never done anything.
Yeah. Go Schlager. No. Sorry, Don. Go Schlager. No.
Oh, that's a.
Yeah.
Goat lager is that cinnamon?
It tastes like
it tastes cinnamon with the gold flecks in it.
It tastes like medicine, in my opinion. But Germans don't. They make good beer. They should stick with what they know. This group of super fans will be patient. Thank you, Tammy. Like I said, I don't know. Would the long-term goal even be that this becomes a community newsletter and run by the community? Maybe. Okay, but we got to get its feet settled first. and then get other people brought in, and see where it goes. You know, I find it, even in retirement, I have less time than I thought I have, but Incinerator is a top shelf Fireball alternative. It will ruin you for ever drinking Fireball.
Never heard of
Never heard of it.
this.
I'm gonna, but you know what? I'm gonna have to look it up. And when I look, see now, if I had my phone, I could have gone like and looked up Incinerator without having to look off screen like really much.
Okay.
But I have to look up the carbs, and I'm gonna guess it doesn't use stevia, it doesn't use monk fruit, it doesn't use erythritol, doesn't use anything that's non-caloric. So it might be something for me that would be one and done. So, but hey, so that's the soft announcement that was what took up about a third of the show. Holy crap, 9:35. We will hopefully by this time next week, which would be we'd be launching it beginning of October, right? October 1st.
Yeah, next Saturday.
I'd
October
like
1st.
to see it get to that point. I think even if we don't get as much into the first issue, I guess the first week of it, we'll still get something out the door, and it'll just get better and grow as you know, we get our feet solidly beneath us, and you all contribute. Again, this isn't us. And I say this isn't us. It isn't just us. It's us. Oh. Both shoulders are stiff, but Rach knows that.
The big
Rach felt I was up extremely late last night.
So was I. Well, I fell asleep for a couple of hours, then I woke up when you came in the bed.
Yeah, we had James Raggy on last night on the Random Party Generator, and the show lasted 3 hours, and then the debriefing afterwards lasted another 2 hours. So we're already at 1:00. Then I have to unwind, and as I'm done unwinding, a friend of mine online, we've never spoken face to face, but we've spoken, and they were in a position that I understand when losing a pet. So I was like, oh yeah, well, we can talk. And I figured,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll bond for 15, 20 minutes. And that's when I poured myself.
Yeah, don't leave the guy swinging.
Right. I poured myself a shot of the faux Fireball. And next thing I know, it's like, yeah, listen, I don't know what time is out by you, but we're after 4 here in New York, and I need to go to bed before the sun comes up. So
nice.
But yeah, so I will probably be deep in my Betty Buys earlier tonight.
Yeah,
maybe. If not, I'll just sleep as Rach is finishing up her yoga conference tomorrow. You debriefed Raggy. When I say debriefed, it means you talk about stuff after the show that you couldn't. You couldn't.
He means it in the counseling way.
Yeah, no, or
debrief like decompress.
Right. Yeah.
Not debrief like you would debrief a prisoner.
Right. Or you debrief a unit if they come in from the field. All right, tell us everything you saw. No, we jokingly call it the green room, and it just became. I was surprised because that lasted horn honking for Saturday night. I don't know.
It's the train.
R. Yeah, you're right. So I figure 2 hours of post live stream bonding, bullshitting, whatever. I really think I was like, wow. Usually Rach and I have our time to after my live streams to hang out and chill and we go to sleep. I was like, we didn't have that. I didn't get my shoulder massage or my back scratched. Oh,
Scraped.
We'll have to show that device, by the way.
Oh, we'll put it in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'll do a little.
Yeah. Tammy, last night's show did go long. Good but long. Spending and investing in people is time well spent.
Exactly.
James is somebody I've supported over the years. We've had disagreements. It's certainly nothing new, and it's nothing new when you have relationships with people, whether they're close or distant.
We're all going to have disagreements
Yeah.
at some point.
But James was a really, really amazing guest and a really solid person to hang out
That's
with.
cool.
So I was glad that it worked out as well as it did.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up, Paul. You have a great night. Everybody else have a great night. We'll have a great night. But Rach has to be up early, so I don't think we'll be up till our usual 11:45. Just one more video, Rach. Oh, God. Folks, thank you very much. Thank you for the interest in the newsletter. We will, I will probably start working on it tomorrow night because we're out with our niece tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks. As usual, we're in the midst of the endemic.
Yes.
Use your common sense. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will be back again tomorrow with some random piece of gaming thought or news.
Take good care.
Good night.